LSU produced the quality and the quantity of NFL players like the LSU Tigers, and such should be the case again here in the 2021 NFL Draft, which is coming up here real soon. We got Lon Phillips Sullivan on the line to break down the current and the former Bayou Bengals, and we'll start, Lon, with these guys moving on to the NFL. And, of course, LSU Pro Day was on Wednesday, and it was quite the impressive showing.
Oh, yeah. What's up, Mark? I mean, when we're talking about Jamar Chase, Terrace Marshall, even the less talked about Racey McMath, that receiver who, would have been the number one guy almost anywhere else. The receivers who were going out there today were unbelievable. And then you even got Torrey Carter, unbelievable fullback, very lightly used in the 2019 or even 2020 offenses at LSU, but who I believe could be a really huge asset at the next level. But what you just saw was these guys put on a showcase, a display of absolute power. These guys are going to be brilliant in the NFL. Jamar Chase especially. Jamar Chase just went from strength to strength. Any type of concerns over just being 6 foot, and he's not 6'3", and he's not 6'4", it doesn't matter. He's making catches like he's 6'4". The wingspan 74 7/8 inch. Bench press 23 reps, but that was from a past video. He was not bench pressing this morning. 40-yard dash 4.38, only 0.05 seconds behind national champion track sprinter Kerry Vincent Jr. from LSU. Unbelievable time there from Jamar Chase. When they asked him, "Do you want to run that again?" He was like, I'm good. With his vertical jump, he was saying that his personal goal was to jump 41. He was expecting to maybe jump 39. He hit that 41-inch mark. Broad jump, 11 feet. But to me, the shuttles were the most impressive. The 20-yard shuttle, 3.98 seconds. It shows just this outrageous, frenzied ability to turn and change the motion and completely just turn defensive backs into pretzels, frankly. Jamar Chase, I believe the Bengals will not be able to resist Joe Burrow's demands. I think Joe Burrow and Jamar know what they can do at the next level. They've just proved just through a little sample size of what they could do at college level. But he's probably going to go number 5 to the Bengals if it's my prediction. But Terrace Marshall. Oh, sorry, Mark, were you wanting to say something?
Well, I just know that in tracking social media throughout the day, there were all sorts of GIFs out there putting Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase together, and the possible reunion of those two. And Jamar Chase, of course, even caught more touchdown passes than Justin Jefferson did 2 years ago, 20 and 84 catches, and was just off the charts. When you combine the athleticism that you just displayed and explained from a Jamar Chase in a controlled environment with a guy who can take all those measurables in a controlled environment and actually do it on the field when it counts, and then do it in the best conference against the best defensive backs, regardless of what the measurements say. As you say, he's not prototypical 6'4", but man, I can't imagine that he's not going to be a player at the next level.
Oh, Mark, I think he's going to be a very fun player to watch. Look at Justin Jefferson. Every time he caught the ball, it was a highlight. At least for me, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I was screaming at the television anytime the Vikings were on and Kirk Cousins. He'd go entire first halves without throwing the football anywhere near Justin Jefferson. I mapped every single target Justin Jefferson's way this season when I was writing his rookie GOAT piece, which is available on LSUodyssey.com. Very popular piece, awesome piece. We had a lot of fun writing that, just going through every just catch of this guy's, just mapping out everything that guy did as a rookie was just brilliant. And now, you see him, he's taking part in today's pro day, and he's checking out what his friends are doing. He's there supporting them. You could see Justin Jefferson on NFL Network there hanging out with them. And it's just brilliant. It's what LSU receivers do. Terrace Marshall Sr. just told us this in an interview the other day. Justin has been talking to Terrace and giving him a lot of advice as well. And, moving on to Terrace Marshall, who I feel like, he didn't wow as many people as Jamar Chase, because I think Jamar Chase, we hadn't seen him play football in so long. We hadn't seen him do any football activities in so long that I think anything Jamar Chase was going to do today was going to wow and stun anybody, especially when you do what he did, which was absolutely historic type of measurables, type of times. Of course, it's going to turn heads. But Terrace Marshall, I mean, he ran the same 40-yard dash time, 4.38 seconds. Just outrageous. Vertical jump of 39 inches. So he hits, that under 2 inches of Jamar, but still 39 inches. It's just crazy. Jabril Cox, he did not participate today. I believe he had some type of injury, maybe a hamstring or something like that. But yeah, he did not participate. But Jacoby Stevens, I really loved what I saw out of him. I think he helped his draft stock a lot. The vertical jump, the 42-inch vertical jump from him with his weight was absolutely awesome. 4.5 seconds first attempt on the 40-yard dash. Not horrible for him at all. That's actually just brilliant for someone, Jacoby Stevens. And I don't think anybody even saw that time coming. Tyler Shelvin, he weighed in at 350. There's been a lot of talk about his weight. He actually talked in his press conference about how former Tiger ESPN analyst Ryan Clark was actually helping him train for the combine and for the pro day, for all this stuff. And he weighs in at 350, 6'2". His wingspan 81/4, 40-yard dash 5.4, vertical jump 28.5 inches. The question is going to be all about his pass rushing ability at the next level. Everybody knows what he can do, and as far as disturbing a pocket, just completely destroying protections, clogging the backfield, that type of thing. But can he enter the backfield multiple upon multiple times a drive, let alone a game? Can he keep that weight down? There's been a ton of talk about the guy's weight. I hate to keep harping on it, but he does need to keep that weight down to be successful in the NFL, especially at his position. Kerry Vincent, wow, 4.33 seconds. I mean, you expect him to beat all the other receivers. He did just barely, but this guy, speed. I think he's going to be a guy that may be a dark horse in this draft, where no one's going to be looking for him except for that one team, and that one team's going to draft him out of nowhere. It's going to shock everybody, and everyone's going to, Kerry Vincent has this type of speed, and they're going to talk about Kerry Vincent Sr., his father, who drafted by the Saints, had an Arena League career, passed away back in 2018 tragically. Kerry opted out before last season, due in part because he caught COVID, as he said today, and he overcame that. And I think what he showed today was absolutely show-stopping. I don't think it absolutely, exploded his draft stock. But I feel like there's going to be that one or two teams who are going to be paying keen attention to what his abilities are. For me, I would draft this guy in the first 3 rounds 100% if I had the need, because he's just got speed you cannot teach, you cannot coach. He's just an unbelievable, uncanny player. Another receiver, Racey McMath, he actually ran a shocking 4.34 seconds, just 0.01 seconds behind a national champion track star in Kerry Vincent Jr. That's unbelievable speed from Racey McMath, Mark. But yeah, he had a very disappointing vertical jump, 34 inches for me. That's come on, man. I don't think that's acceptable. He's got to do a lot better than that at his height and what he can do. He has far more aerial ability than that. I don't think that will show anything of what he can do in the NFL, especially in the aerial department. Torrey Carter, this guy has not been getting much play, but he is a hitting machine. He will destroy people out of the backfield. He's great in pass protection. But then, as you saw him running routes with the other receivers for LSU, Terrace, Jamar, and Racy, I think he may have pulled off the catch of the day. I think Jamar had an absolutely disgusting catch, Mark, but where he was going out to the out and made this really sick catch. It's right there on LSUodyssey.com if you want to check it out. But also, Torrey Carter made a really sick one that's also we got up there that, he's a really kind of short of stature guy, and he reaches up right at the last second, gets that ball, back shoulder, going out of bounds. The ball's kind of a point-blank trajectory. I thought that one would go through his hands, but no, he held on to that baby. There was a few drop passes from a receiver in particular. I don't want to criticize him. I think they can work on that, but that's definitely something they need to pay attention to. But as far as these receivers, I expect Jamar and Terrace to go in the first round, Kerry to go in those first 3 rounds at least. Some team's going to believe in what Kerry Vincent Jr. has to supply in the speed department. In the coverage department, he can play nickel, corner, and safety. I mean, this guy's tackling was sorely missed last year, Mark. The angles he takes, the speed he has, the brilliant blasting hits. He had an interception in every season, had 4 picks last year. That brilliant pick off Jalen Hurts in the game against Oklahoma in that Peach Bowl. That tells you everything about this guy's range and his tracking ability in the air. But it was a successful pro day for LSU. It was a historic pro day for LSU.
Just to go back and highlight Jacoby Stevens' play in the field to match what he did today. Just one of the more productive defenders in recent times at LSU. 190 tackles during his career, basically coming over the final 3 seasons, 21.5 tackles for loss, 9.5 sacks, 4 picks, 15 passes defensed. And again, as Lon tells us, and I'm looking right at it, go to LSUodyssey.com and you can just get lost in pro day coverage there. You've got Terrace Marshall, Jamar Chase, and a number of other players videotape right there to check out what they performed on the field. Pro day press conferences are right there. You got Coach O speaking after Tuesday's practice, talking as we will in a few seconds with Lon concerning spring practice, and then back to the pro day Terrace Marshall Senior interview. So that's a great get for Lon, who's constantly getting top-notch interviews right there. And again, more coming up with Coach O and Durante Jones, I see there. So it's all on display right there. Very easy to find on the front page there of LSUodyssey.com. So check it out. Get yourself a mask too, LSU mask. Or if you just root for another team and you just happen to be watching our LSU coverage here with Lon, we've got 35 available, but the LSU Tigers included front and center, voiceofcollegefootball.com. Go there, register for free. We get you a coupon code that gets you a free mask and 20% off your first purchase.
Do it.
So, Lon, let's get to spring football. It's one of those times, it is the time for coaches to experiment. And a lot of players that may be very talented, but because there's such a stack of talent in front of them, and maybe it's just not a great fit in terms of the scheme to showcase their abilities at that position, get tried out maybe on the other side of the ball, maybe on the same side of the ball at a different position. So you have some situations like that.
Oh, yeah. And at LSU, I think every year as an LSU fan, when I hear people saying like, this guy played this position last year as a freshman, he will play this position next year. It's like, no, that's never that definitive. And I get that happens at a lot of other schools too, but it particularly happens at LSU because of the players, the profile that Coach Orgeron recruits. He wants dual athletes, guys who play both sides of the ball. John Trey Kirkland, for instance, he can play corner and he can play receiver. He even played quarterback. And he was even the 3rd string quarterback for LSU in 2020 last year at one point. That's his talent level there. He even played talent practice. I think it was scout team quarterback during practice. John Trey Kirkland last year. So I mean, Zach Von Rosenberg, our punter, even played scout team quarterback. Coach Orgeron's always going for these guys that can do multiple things. And Jay Ward, cornerback last year, had 3 brilliant picks. Came into the season hot last year. A huge blocked field goal. He started the season with a torn meniscus. He shouldn't have even been on the field against Mississippi State. But because of Derek Stingley's medical emergency on the eve of week 1, he was thrown into the fire. Even in that game, even though he allowed, I think, 3 touchdowns, just because obviously you could see if you watch the film, he's got a torn meniscus. It's obvious. He actually led the team, or any team on the field, any defender on the field that day, with 3 defended passes. He actually destroyed KJ Costello in a piece of footage we put on our Twitter, where he comes on a blitz around the edge and just destroys this dude, knocks the ball out of bounds. I mean, this guy had a torn meniscus. The field goal block against Arkansas, the 2 interceptions against Ole Miss, the pick that he took to the house, the pick on his knees against Florida after it bounces off Dwight McLaughlin's face mask. This guy has a lot better hitting and tackling ability than people have been saying. He has unbelievable pressure off the edge, really underrated pressure off the edge that I've been seeing when I go back and watch that tape. I think, I anticipated, I kind of had a feeling, there's a need at free safety. I could see Jay Ward moving there. And then I heard from a source, Durante Jones, one of the first things he said to Corey Raymond when they got there, they already had so much familiarity that they didn't really need to spend so much time getting to know each other and having pleasantries. One of the first things Durante Jones or Corey Raymond said to one another was, let's move Jay Ward to free safety. Let's see if he's down for that. They brought that to him. He said, for sure. We reported that, I believe, back in early February, maybe even late January when they said that to Jay. And it was within days of Durante Jones's January 26th hire. But yeah, Jay Ward, he's moved to free safety, and they're saying that he is looking like a natural back there. He will supplement, guys like Todd Harris, who's coming back off that knee injury, but he had, 2 interceptions last year and a forced fumble. He came on really well at the last part of the year, but, he had some really bad missed tackles in the first part of the season as he kind of got back into game shape. And let's just be honest, football's a team game. You can't always just say, oh, that safety made, a huge whiff, when it's like he's got this, flying, flaming diesel running at him. It's kind of harder. Usually safeties are making those tackles when the guy's a little, his momentum's a little slowed. But, you got Derek Davis Jr., a freshman. Okay, this guy's a freshman, and everyone's expecting him to just be a safety. But he's, we're thinking a nickel. We're thinking a nickel, maybe even a linebacker, outside linebacker. He's got really interesting abilities where he can play in coverage, just cover those tight ends, those receivers with absolute dominance, just get right in their face. Very aggressive guy off the line. But then he's even taking reps at running back because LSU's had such a need at running back. So even Derek Davis Jr. has gone back to his high school position and had a few reps there, and I don't think he really enjoyed that too much. But, the running back position has been in such dire need, Mark, that, LSU, they had, I think it was Corin Norman, had to take 39 carries in a scrimmage because Ty Davis Price, his ankle was hurting. John Emery Jr. is coming off shoulder surgery. And then you got Trey Bradford, who hurt his hamstring during the scrimmage. So Corin Norman has to take 39 carries. Josh Williams had to take 25 and then hurts his ankle as well, I believe, or some part of his lower body and on his leg. He should be fine. He should be coming back soon. I think he might even be practicing already. But they had to have somebody play running back in that scrimmage to get those 4 blast plays done. And so the receivers did it. John Trey Kirkland, who I just mentioned, he had the biggest running play of the afternoon, Coach Orgeron said. playing running back, and Coy Moore, who took to that challenge very, like he even went to Coach O at one point and said, I have no problem moving to running back. Like, that guy was really tough and wanting the challenge of playing running back. It's just very weird how LSU's players are embracing the cross training this year. It hasn't just been offensive linemen practicing against offensive linemen. It hasn't just been defensive linemen against defensive linemen. They wanted the whole team mixed, going against each other, going with each other in drills, and it's made the team stronger. It's made the team better. It's made the team more versatile. I think, Coach Orgeron has done a hell of a job with this team coming into 2021, because look at that defensive line. Jaquelin Roy, sophomore, 2 sacks in the scrimmage. Of course, these are scrimmage sacks, so getting right there. But right guard Anthony Bradford, he's stepping up. Garrett Dellinger, his fellow Michigan guy, came in, and he's kind of trying to show him the ropes. And I think that's helped Anthony Bradford kind of feel more a part of the team, and then from there become a better right guard. And I think he's stepping up and stepping in that position. Cardell Thomas is right there as well. Cardell Thomas is invested. He's ready. He's recovered from his knee injury. And don't forget, Cardell is a former 5-star talent from the state of Louisiana. That doesn't happen too often, and I expect Cardell to come good at some point. But you got a lot of guys who are unproven, a lot of guys who may not have played their positions, but they're moving in there. They're stepping into those roles. Alex Adams, receiver, he's a sophomore now. He just moved to safety as well. That was a position he played in high school. He's a hard hitter. He's really good in coverage. That's an interesting switch as well. So you got a lot of interesting swaps here that Coach Orgeron's doing. Just some out of necessity, some out of experimentation, and some out of just saying, what the hell, this will probably work.
Moore and Kirkland, guys that contributed in a meaningful way, the wide receiver position. But as you say, with the need there because of injuries and because of given who was it with 39 carries?
Corin Norman, sophomore.
Okay. With 39 carries, shouldering the load there and wanting to play a little running back and switch it up. And we're talking about guys that caught, Kirkland 13 receptions last year and 3 touchdowns, and Moore caught 22 passes. So they're not, shying away from a little contact and mixing it up and showing what they can do somewhere else in an emergency situation. Lon Philip Sullivan on the line from LSU Odyssey, breaking down the Bayou Bengals during spring camp and, of course, Pro Day on a Wednesday. Well, I always like to hit you up, Lon, for the latest on the recruiting front, whether that be a sure commit that's come into the fold or who those targets are out there and how close they are to letting us know what's going on.
Well, first things first, Mark, Jacoby Matthews. And that's just one T in the Matthews. I learned that today as well. I've just been automatic writing it Matthews the whole time. So it's just Matthews, just one T. Jacoby Matthews, this is a guy who, Ponchatoula, teammate at quarterback TJ Finley. While LSU were recruiting TJ Finley, they found this guy because he was right there, practicing in the quarterback room as well. But, they were told this guy's also a brilliant safety. So they looked into him. Jacoby Matthews, he's a 5-star talent, unbelievable safety. He's threw for 10 touchdowns, rushed for 3 on the offensive side of the ball. I think he had something about like 1,600 combined yards and threw for 3 picks. But on the defensive side of the ball, he's been an absolute masterpiece. He's going to be starting quarterback for his final seasons, but at the same time, Jacoby Matthews, watch him on the defensive side of the ball, unbelievable, just hunting ability. This guy, he's thick, but at the same time, he's speedy. And, when you look at what LSU is doing, Mark, for the top 10 prospects, I guess would be the word, if you will, prospects or recruits in the state of Louisiana, they are just cleaning up. When you look at number 10, A.J. Johnson, receiver, check, LSU's got him. Tyjee Hill, defensive tackle, LSU just got his commitment. Brilliant, brilliant dude. I got some interesting quotes that I tweeted from his coach. Really interesting insight into what Taiji Hill is all about. This guy is a Shelvin type of guy, but he's got a faster motor. So immediately everyone at LSU is like, wait, Shelvin but faster? What? We're all over him. So, Taiji Hill, man, I really expect a lot out of him, but at the same time, LSU is so stacked right now, defensive tackle. I believe we're gonna be even using 3 defensive tackles in some sets, Mark, because they're that multiple, they're that versatile, and they're that fast, they're that athletic. But after him, Jamon Tapp, defensive end out of Ascension High. I really like him. I'm not sure if he's coming to LSU. I think it might be iffy, but at the same time, LSU are right there, right in the hunt. Then at number 7 you got Jacoby Matthews, Ponchatoula, who we just talked about. LSU are right there in that mix. We will find out tomorrow his commitment. At the same time, first commitments still a long way to go. Jair Brown, though, at number 6, cornerback out of Warren Easton. LSU are cleaning up with corners already. I don't know how much room they'll have, but he's another guy they're hunting for. Trevante Citizen, running back linebacker combo. This guy is very interesting to me. 5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 66 tackles on the defensive side of the ball. More people are talking about him as a running back. LSU are recruiting him to play linebacker. But then at number 4, you got Walker Howard. How is he at number 4? That's just madness. This guy set like a record time the other day. I think he had like a 4.8 40-yard dash or something like that. I can't remember the exact time, but Mike Scarborough reported it. It was something unearthly, but he's just got all the tools. And LSU, check right there. Le'Veon Moss, pure running back. I expect him to commit to LSU. He loves the Tigers. Tigers love him. It's a perfect marriage. Will Campbell in at number 2, check. We already got that huge offensive line commit, 5-star guy. This guy, he's going to be a pillar of the offensive line for the next 4 years to come, from 2022 all the way to 2025, 2026. If he decides to stay, that guy is going to be, one of those, Alan Faneca, Andrew, Whitworth. He's going to be one of those type of guys. And then at number 1, you got wide receiver Shaz Preston. Interestingly, Shaz Preston, a lot is up in the air, but at the same time, his St. James teammate Savion Jones, he just came here to LSU. His coach Robert Valdez has a great relationship with LSU, and he's very down with LSU. I feel like Shaz is, his family is as well. Every time I have tweeted something about Shaz, his father has liked and retweeted that. For me, that's usually a sign. It doesn't mean everything, but if they're going to care that much, it means something. Wait, Mark, 1 second. I need to get my battery charger, or my battery's going to die.
Sure, that's fine.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah, just give me like 2 or 3 minutes here, then I got to go.
All right. I'll just hit the quarterback then. Quarterbacks.
Okay. You can pick it up anytime.
Well, Coach Orgeron is saying that, with the quarterbacks, it's a seesaw. He's talking about it's between Max Johnson and Miles Brennan, just back and forth. There was talk about TJ Finley having a really productive, awesome scrimmage, but it feels like this is between Max and Miles, just back and forth. Who's going to get that job? And I think it's going to be Max Johnson who's going to take that job. But yeah, Mason Smith as well. This is a freshman, Mark. Okay, a freshman, and let me just say this. Coach Orgeron just said that he, a freshman, is LSU's best pass rusher. as a defensive tackle. A freshman defensive tackle who just had 3 sacks, a sack trick in the last scrimmage. Coach Orgeron just said that Mason Smith is his best pass rusher. And we got Ojulari, Guy, Anthony on the team. That's an incredible statement about Mason Smith.
Lon, why do you think Max Johnson is the edge? What gives him the edge over a quarterback who was on pace to rival Joe Burrow's numbers from the year before?
Well, I think it's Max's dual threat ability. I think it's the respect he will garner from the defense alone. I've seen him run for first downs where he just smashes into the defenders at the end of the play, where you don't see Miles Brennan doing that. There's a passiveness to Miles Brennan in the pocket. I want to see different from Miles. If I can see him charging into people, wanting that contact, then he's my guy. But Max, he's got this dual threat ability where he doesn't have the deep ball of Miles yet. He does not have the deep ball arm that Miles has. But he can make every other type of throw. He can make most of the deep throws, but not all of them. He's got an above average arm than people think. But it's just those legs. It's that ability to escape a collapsing pocket, to extend the play that gives him the edge, in my opinion.
Please like the video, share the videos out on social media because, hey, if you love the analysis here, others will as well. So just take these video links and share them out on your Twitter, Facebook as well, and other social media platforms. And, of course, subscribe here. Head on over to LSU Odyssey. Check out Lon's work right there, lsuodyssey.com. Get yourself a face mask. Go to voiceofcollegefootball.com. Lon, we always appreciate the breakdown.
Mark, thank you, brother. Go Tigers.